If you want your dua to be answered, if you want more of your big, bold, audacious duas to be answered, this is the video for you, because today I'm breaking down 3 things that you are doing right now that is sabotaging your dua from being answered. So let's get into it. Mistake number 1, you think that only the duas of the pious are being answered, that you have to be some kind of elite Muslim if you want your duas to be answered. But need I remind you that even the dua of Iblis was accepted. Yes, even Shaitan's dua was accepted. You're looking around at all these people who are having their duas accepted and you're thinking, well, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm not a good enough Muslim. Immediately, stop that immediately. Rasulullah ﷺ said, the supplication of every one of you is granted as long as he does not grow impatient and say, I supplicated, but it was not granted. Be so careful with your words. Allah gave you the ability to speak, to say what you want to say. And when you say, my dua is not being answered, you are literally sabotaging your dua from being answered. But when you use your words, the power of your words, to keep making that dua and say, yes, I haven't received what I'm asking for yet, but I'm going to keep asking for it. I'm going to double down on it. Then you are using the power of the spoken word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you for good, for your own good, for your own khair. There was a time in my life when I had a problem that just felt so big and so insurmountable. And I kept asking Allah to change this for me, to grant me better, to make a solution come forward. I was trying everything on my end, taking all the action, doing all the things. Nothing seemed to be working. And I kept making, and there were points at which I was thinking, why am I not receiving what I'm asking for? Eventually, after a few years, I received the solution that I was seeking. But when I looked back, I understood that throughout those years when I felt like my dua was not being answered, I was doing something so powerful. He was molding me. He was teaching me. He brought into my life people and situations and opportunities and opened doors that molded me into the version of me that you see today. Because when you make a dua, it's not just I ask for what I want and then I get it. It is not a vending machine. Yes, sure, Allah can do that. He is capable of that. And there may be some du'as that are exactly like that. They've been answered for you. You ask and you receive. Subhanallah. But there are some things that you are asking for that require you to go through a process, that require a transformation of who you are. And Allah is invested in your long game. He wants to see you grow as a person. He wants to see you stack for your akhirah. He wants to see you develop so that you become the kind of person that can build an akhirah legacy. And so you may think your dua is being delayed, but actually it's all for your good and it's all from His mercy. And during that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is building you and making circumstances happen and making things change around so that at the point you receive the solution that you're asking for, you are ready to receive it and you have gained so much more. You've gained a relationship with Him. You've gained awareness. You've gained relationships and connections that you would have never had before. And so I want you to really think about the long game of your dua and be willing to engage and invest in that. But in order to do that, you need to have a good opinion of Allah, because I'm going to lovingly call you out here. Some of you have a distorted opinion of Allah. You think that Allah is unfair. When you see other people receiving the thing that you are asking Him for, and you think you're working harder and I'm doing more and I pray more salah than that person, so how come they get it before I do? I want you to remind yourself that Allah is perfect in His wisdom. If He's giving something to that person, you have a choice of whether to be happy for them or to criticize them. It's not going to make you get the thing faster when you judge them for receiving what Allah has given them. So trying to compare your ibadah with theirs is a futile thing. You cannot say that if I do more ibadah, Allah should give me what I'm asking for faster. That's not how it works. Allah is much more wise than that, and He understands things that you do not understand. So part of making dua is also surrendering to Allah's wisdom instead of your own wisdom. And when you start to think these things, it damages your opinion of Allah. In fact, there's a hadith that says, I am as my servant thinks of me. Allah has said this. Cultivating a good opinion of Allah is actually a form of ibadah. The more you choose to think of Allah in a good way, to trust Him, to trust His wisdom, the better you get at making dua and surrendering to the outcome. And all of these take me to my third point. The biggest mistake that you're making that's sabotaging your du'as is that you are not making dua often enough. And I hear you, you're saying, Zaahida, I make dua a lot, but are you really? Most of us only make dua when we get desperate, when things are absolutely dire. And honestly, you give up way too soon because you don't get the results as quickly as you want. And you're like, I've asked, and I'm not going to make dua for this anymore. If you really want it, are you waking up at the tahajjud? Are you asking every single day after every single farud salah? And if not, why not? What does it cost you besides a few minutes of your time? Loves those who are patient and persistent and consistent and keep calling on him regardless of the results. Honestly, when you can implement this, so much about your life will change. Not just about your dua, but your life. You will become a different person. And that really is the goal here. I want for you to experience more of your du'as becoming manifest, but you also have to engage in the process that this takes you through. Now, I want you to share one of your du'as that you've been consistently making in your comments, and I want to hear you say that you are committed to continuing with this du'a. And one more caveat, sometimes you don't receive what you're asking for, but Allah will change your heart. When you trust Him, when you stay consistent in your relationship with Allah, calling on Him, He will either sometimes give you what you want or store the reward for it in the hereafter, and sometimes He will even change your heart so that it no longer longs for the thing that you are asking. All of these are part of how Allah shows you mercy. So go ahead, share that dua, and I will see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.